So, you know what, today, you know what another thing is, Seth? Today is the last day of summer. Tomorrow's the first day of fall. So
Is that right?
yeah, the last day of summer. Did you, man, we had a long one. Did you all have a good summer?
Well, we finally got out of the triple digits here in the Sacramento area, so that's nice.
Yeah,
Can't
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
it was 114 just a week and a half ago.
man, it was crazy, crazy. Hey, Matthew, what's happening? Matt Stewart.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Great to see everybody. Good morning,
Good morning.
Seth.
Good morning.
Okay, we've got some house rules. Turn on your video. Unless you're in the shower, the rules are you have to turn on your video. Come on, we got a meeting. We got to want to see your moneymaker, right? So,
Boom.
cool. Awesome. So we've got a great meeting for everyone here this morning. Welcome, Atomic Habits. I'm going to turn it over to Seth Vernon. He's going to quarterback the meeting. Seth, it's all
Thank
you.
you, Tom, and welcome everybody. Welcome to Atomic Habits. And today I'm happy to introduce, perhaps for the first time, Heather Durborough from Chicago Title. Heather, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. And I wanted to bring you here. We've got a shifting market, at least in the Sacramento region, and people are wondering where their business is going to be going. And I want to say one thing about you, Heather, that I really admire, and maybe you can touch on it later, but then I'll turn it over to you and you can go into your presentation on active farming. Heather, tell us how is your follow-up game so strong?
The fortune is in the follow-up. As you all know, I have an amazing CRM that my company uses. So I live and breathe that all day long. I am in it. When I hang up with you guys, I'm going to make sure that I put in, I had an active farm appointment with Tom, Seth, all of you guys on it. So I know that, when the next time I talk to you, I know what we went through before. So CRM, if you guys are not diving into your CRM, shame on you.
Yeah, well, great. Well, maybe we can touch on that more later, but yours is among the very best I've ever seen. I
Thanks,
truly mean
Seth.
that. That's very good. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you're going to be talking about today.
Yes. So Heather Durborough, Chicago Title. I handle the Placer, Sac, and El Dorado County areas. And I know there's a lot of people statewide, nationwide that are watching. I am out of California by Tom. I have been in the real estate space 15 plus years, with Chicago Title 7 years. Prior to that, worked for Blue Water Credit for 5 years, the credit repair company that you guys are all aware of. So yeah, I'm married, have a 7-year-old and an almost 5-year-old, and yeah, doing the thing. So I'm here today. Seth brought me on to present one of our tools that is proprietary to Chicago Title. It is a nationwide platform, so you guys all can have access to it. I'll make sure when I'm done rambling on to put in the chat my contact information and how you can get signed up for this tool. So I know that there's a stigma with farming. People hear farming and they're like, no, I don't want to send out flyers. I don't want to door knock. I don't want to do all this. You don't have to. You really don't have to. I just want to give you a sneak peek of this tool that we could really dissect a certain neighborhood. Or maybe you are an open house king or queen. I want to show you how you can use this platform to help with your open houses as well. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get right into it. Time's out if you're not using it, so just bear with me a second. Okay, so I am going to show you what I would do if I was an agent, how I would use this. So the first thing, I want this to be interactive. So if you guys want to raise your hands and mute yourself, how many people that are watching actually have a geographic farm? Meaning you're sending mailers, you're holding, community events. I know Tom holds a ton of community events. So if you have a geographic farm, I'm going to show you how you can use this. Okay. So I'm going to go to create a farm. And the cool thing about this platform is you don't have to learn it or even do it. If you have a boundary map or an address, you could send it to me. I could do it for you. So I just like to preface that because I know sometimes when people are doing product demos, you tune out. You're like, I'm not going to learn this. You don't have to. I can do it for you. So just for
So Heather, can I ask a question really quickly?
yeah.
So most of the people here are very familiar with KV Core as a CRM.
Perfect.
Does this coincide with KV Core?
Yes, this converts to KV Core, as well as when we chatted, I believe a handful of you guys are using some sort of dialer. This is compatible with Vulcan 7, and I'll show you a couple other ones. I don't know if you guys are using CoreFact for mailers or HomeBot or any of those other tools. It's compatible with that as well.
Okay, very good.
So just for demo purposes, I'm going to pull up around my office. Now, as long as you change, you draw out. Can everyone mute themselves, please? I'm
Yeah, I
hearing
think
like,
that's Johnny. If you can mute yourself, please.
okay, thank you. I'm like hearing double of myself. Anyway, so I'm just going to start drawing out. Now, let's say this is Tom's geographic farm. Now, obviously he knows all of these addresses, but what I wanted to show you is that this particular tool can give us a snapshot of that info. Again, you guys don't have to learn this, so I'm just going to zip through it to show you what it can do. So as long as you draw out less than 3,000 homes, it works properly, meaning you can't call me and say, can you send me all the likely next sellers in Los Angeles? Well, no, I can't. So let's, be a little more strategic, draw out your particular neighborhood or whatnot. So I am going to click on what I did. And this brings up the whole area that we drew out. So if you want all this data from right here, this is where you can export it. Normal CSV file. It has Facebook and Instagram capabilities if you want to pay for ads directly through this platform. Here's the CRMs. Here you go, KV Core. Here's others if you're using some other ones as well. Third party, here's Vulcan. Maybe you're using HomeBot, CoreFact. It has all of that. And I could share, like if Tom texts me this map, I could do it for him and share it to his account. But I want you guys to remember snapshot view, snapshot, snapshot, snapshot. Now this breaks down the entire farm. So if Tom didn't want to market to 488 people consistently, and by consistently, I mean minimum of once a month for, the next 12 to 18 months, he could just focus on these particular categories. Gold farm is the moneymaker. Gold equals money. Gold farm is this platform's verbiage for likely to sell. So they have said that 70% of this gold farm list, they meaning active farm, is likely to sell in the next 1 to 2 years. So if Tom's like, give me the moneymaker, I can click on gold farm, and here are those that met the algorithm for potential sellers. So instead of marketing to almost 500 people, maybe we just want to focus on those 17, which is pretty cool. Now, I know you're going to ask, how do they do that? What's the algorithms? Of course, they won't reveal that to us. So I wish I knew. I wish I knew. But here's the other categories that people aren't necessarily reaching out to. I really think the out-of-state owners are the untouched potential sellers out there. So I don't think enough agents market to the out-of-state owners consistently, meaning I own in that little area in Roseville that I drew out, but I live out of California. So there's 5 of them. So I'm not asking you to break the bank by contacting these folks, but potentially you could reach out to Gold Farm and out-of-state owners. I think another great pool of people are the recent buyers. Now, they bought within the last 90 days. You're thinking, why should I market to them? Well, maybe just introduce yourself. Tom could go to those recent buyers and say, I know I wasn't your realtor. I am the neighborhood expert. You'll see me around. I'm doing community events. So I think it'd be really cool to reach out to those recent buyers. Maybe you have like a cute little welcome to the neighborhood basket. You know, these aren't people that are necessarily going to buy or sell, you know, in the near future. But as you know, that NAR stat of what is it? Something crazy like 70% of people don't hear from their realtor again,
Yeah.
something like that. So that could be a pool of people worth targeting. Now, another thing about this program is after I do all this, I am going to get an email that shows who had in the last 45 days got married, had a baby, maybe got divorced, those life events. It's going to email me that that data is available to purchase. So if you want that type of information, that will be emailed to you, that you have the ability to buy credits and, you know, purchase that. So I would recommend, if that's going to be your niche, that you want to target the divorces or things like that, you better be on it with your scripts, because you can't reach out to someone and say, hey, heard you just got divorced. I mean, you have to be really, really great with your scripts. So that's another option through this platform. Are there any questions so far? I see some chat, so I'm going to go there.
I have a question, Heather. So what I'm seeing is, and it goes back to my original statement, where your follow-up game is so strong. And one reason I think that is because you're leveraging technology. Is
Correct.
that fair?
Correct.
Okay. And so this is technology that anyone can leverage, whether you're new to the industry or whether you are seasoned, and perhaps you have a team of agents that you can introduce this to. Can I just bring up the main objection, I think, in a lot of agents' minds?
Yes, please do.
Farming is so expensive. It takes 18 months before you get any turnaround. I need a paycheck next month. I
Yes.
don't have time to do this
Yes.
right now. Thank you.
Yes.
But this is not very passive. This is extremely active farming.
Totally. And because I do work with a lot of new agents, door knocking's free. You may not want to do it, but it's free. Okay. You have the ability to, through this platform, you can purchase phone numbers for 8 cents a record, or email addresses for 8 cents a record. So that's cheaper than direct mail. So that's my, how I counter, gosh, mailers are so expensive. Agreed. But if I'm only sending to 17 people on a monthly basis, that's less than
Sure.
$20 a month. So it's also good to know that if you don't want to do a geographic farm, maybe you just want to draw out your personal neighborhood and see who of your own neighbors meet the algorithm that maybe you want to focus on. As well as an open house. I have the ability to, I don't have to necessarily draw out a polygon. I can go to this section right here, this profiles, just for demo. I'm going to type in my address. No one stopped me now that I've given you my address. I can go to Radius Farm, and I think this is awesome around an open house. I'm just going to draw out a 1/4 mile, okay? And I'm just going to go Tom Radius. So this is pretty cool. I could just, instead of drawing a polygon, I'm just pulling a 1/4 mile around my house, which let's pretend that's your open house or an upcoming listing. And then you could reach out to those gold farm people to let them know how successful your open house is. Or, I had 30 families that came in. Are you sure you're not interested in, having an analysis done on your house?
Sure.
So out of a 1/4 mile, there's only 2 in my particular area. So there you go. That's 2 people. So it just gives you a couple different ways to manage this platform. And it's a live tool. It updates twice a month. So you'll get notified when there's changes within the farm, which is pretty cool. So you'll never have to reorder that from a title company or whatnot.
We got a question in the chat. Someone says, can you use this in Oregon? You're here in California.
Yes, it is nationwide. This also coincides with our Chicago Title Walking Farm app. So how many door knockers are out there? Anyone? Yay, Tom. It coincides with the app. So you could just pull up the app and you're like, I mean, gosh, what? It was 115 degrees here last week. Maybe you're like, I don't want to door knock my whole neighborhood. You just pull up the Gold Farm and you could just hit those folks right from the app, which is pretty cool. So I'll make sure I specify all that in the chat.
Sure. So let me kind of recap here, Heather.
Yeah.
You've dispelled the myth that farming is very expensive. Number one, that's a big turnoff for people. I mean, the top agents in the room right now, Tom, are farmers. They're active farmers, and
Yeah.
there's a reason for that. But it doesn't have to break the bank.
Yeah.
Also, number two myth that you dispelled is that there doesn't have to be an 18-month turnaround
Correct.
where you have to be cutting checks every month for 18 months before you get any ROI. This is something that can be done in the background as another leg of your business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, we've all been so spoiled these past couple of years, title companies, lenders, agents, business has just been coming to us. We've been in a lead receiving market. Now it's time to lead generate. And this is just another leg of your business.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Thank you so much. This is awesome. And, when I first saw this post that Heather and Seth were going to share about geographic farm, I immediately went to the thing about, it's about mastering the mundane. Hey, it's not sexy. It's not a shiny bullet, but it just freaking works, man. And we just need to be consistent, and Jim Rohn says that success is doing a half a dozen things really, really well, and then repeating them 5,000 times. So I'm just going to share, okay, this is the core four for goal setting, the core four, and we're posting it in the memo. Okay, so the core four for anyone, whether you're just starting or you're in the business, and it's on a one-page goal sheet. Okay, so the core four lead generation is number one is your database, your sphere of influence. Number two is open houses. Number three is geographical farming. And then number four is online and outbound. So we'll post that in there. And this is great because it works. It just freaking works. So I'll get off my soapbox now. Thank you very much, Seth.
No, you're so
Core
right.
four.
And you said when you started it off, today's the last day of summer. Tomorrow is fall. This is the fun time of the year that even if you don't like door knocking or community events, it's like, hey, go around your neighborhood with the upcoming pumpkin patches, the Christmas lights, do a canned food drive for Thanksgiving with a local food bank. Like now is it's the easy farming time because you don't have to necessarily knock on someone's door and say, hey, who do you know that wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? I'm going to be in your neighborhood next week, clean out your pantry. I'm donating it to the, local food bank. So it's just kind of some easy conversations within a neighborhood if you're not comfortable with having the real estate based conversation. So perfect time of year for this, I think, drop off a pumpkin to the 11 Gold Farm folks, something like that.
Yeah, this market is scary. Happy Halloween, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Heather. Now is the time where the activities you do today will be reflected in how much money you make in January, in February. And as agents, I think a lot of the pitfalls are that one major pitfall, I should say, is people tend to be very transaction based. They're not thinking 3 months in advance. And even 3 months is not very long. Tony Robbins says, think in decades. And so if we can adopt as agents more of a long-term mindset, a long-term strategy, it is going to pay dividends. And what I'm hearing you say and what I'm seeing from your presentation on this tool is add it to your toolbox.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it can work backwards. So, for the majority of people that are working with buyers right now, if you have a super picky buyer or they just want to, a certain subdivision, or they want a pool and a second story, 3 acres plus, you can send me that data. I send it to my customer service department and they can import it into my account or your account. So we
Sure.
can see out of those folks who meet the algorithm to, likely sell. And then maybe you can get both ends. So that's another
Sure.
way to use farming tools.
So you're reverse prospecting. You say, hey,
Correct.
I need someone, we need a 1/3 acre. Maybe they need RV parking or whatever it is. And it needs to be in this school district. In other words, this neighborhood, and it
Yeah.
needs to be at this square footage and
Yeah.
you're going to be able to find that. And that's a value proposition to, I mean, are you able to get sellers? Sure. You're also able to provide a huge value to your client if you're representing the buyer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've just shown you like the basics of this platform. There's ways to upgrade it to be even more strategic. We have this help line right here. If you want to watch past webinars, you could search by subdivisions, which if you have new agents that are watching, you're like, I don't like my neighborhood because I'm not planning on being there. You could do a subdivision search and just start targeting a certain subdivision. So it's a great platform to at least just play around with and see, in your own neighborhood, who's a potential seller, or like I said before, reach out to the recent buyers to introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm sure you just saw that question in the chat. Can you target farm by subdivision? And
Yes, here we go. I'll just
speaking
show
to that.
you real quick to show you how easy it is. So mine defaults to Placer County. So I'm just going to do Roseville. I like to see a minimum, if I could spell, I like to see a minimum turnover rate of at least 5. You can leave it blank or not. I just want to make sure that I'm going to target an area that is actually moving. So I just put in Roseville subdivisions, 5% minimum turnover. I hit continue and it pulls up the maps. If you're more of a map person, I like to see a list.
Heather, can I ask
to
a
list
question
view.
right there?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. When you say 5, just to clarify, you're talking if there are 100 homes, 5 homes or 5% will be turning over in the next 12 months. Is that right?
Correct. So yes. So the easiest math is how many homes did I draw out? Divide it by how many homes sold in the last 12 months. That percentage, I like to see at least a minimum of 5.
Sure.
If you start seeing crazy high turnover, 14, 15, 20%, just be careful. It might be like a new build area. So just if you get a
Sure.
crazy high turnover and you're like, you get very excited, just make sure that it's not like, a new build area.
Okay.
Because that's obviously why the numbers are higher. But whoever asked the question, here's all the subdivisions in Roseville. Say you like this one, I can just hit create a farm. And the same thing, it's just now going to create the analytics on this particular subdivision in Roseville.
Wow.
It'll spit me back to the homepage. And then from there, I could see the snapshot view of who out-of-state owners are, likely sellers. We didn't even touch on the non-owner occupieds. That's, an option there if you want to start targeting the renters or whatnot. But here it is on the homepage eventually.
There you go.
So there it is. Subtest. Same thing. Hit subtest. Hit snapshot. And there's 9 in that particular subdivision. Absentee owners, those are the non-owner occupied homes. So maybe you want to focus on those folks right there.
Oh, very good. I love how it separates those.
Yes. Yeah. And you can even, I know some of you are thinking that, oh, I'm just going to build a giant gold farm list. Fantastic. You absolutely can. You can go to this create append to farm feature, and I'm just going to name this Seth Gold. Seth Gold. And now I've extracted that gold farm in its own category. And then I can pull another subdivision's gold farm, share it to Seth Gold. So you could potentially have a bigger gold farm list. So it's pretty cool.
This is awesome.
Okay. Very good. Well, thank you, Heather.
You're
I saw that
welcome.
you put your, you scratched the surface on that tool. I know you did, and but
Yes.
appreciate you being here. My takeaways are, there's a lot that can be done by way of leveraging technology
Absolutely.
that we are mostly not doing. And so
Absolutely.
add another leg to your business and leverage technology. And this is not overwhelming like a lot of people might consider farming.
No, not at all. And I know a lot of you watching, I don't work with all of you. I know you're thinking, I have my preferred title rep. I have my preferred escrow officer. Fantastic. I would love the opportunity to work with you. But if you're using a tool of mine that helps you get business, great. That's not any less business from your current affiliate. This is just new business.
Sure.
Send me the business that you got from this. I'm not asking all of yours, you
Sure.
know?
Yeah.
So I think that can kind of turn people off from using tools. Is you're like, oh, I don't want to cheat on so-and-so. Fantastic. Let's use this and see if anything comes from this. It's not time to shake things up and kind of just shift your marketing right now, I would say.
Right. Well, very good. Well, thank you, Heather. Appreciate you
You're
taking the time,
welcome.
and very
Thanks for
much
having
thank
me.
you for being here. All right. With
Awesome.
that
Well,
being
thank
said,
you
I'll turn
so
it over to you,
much.
Tom.
Hey, awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. This Friday, I know that you've heard Coach Michael Bird is going to be at Lake Tahoe at Incline Tahoe. If you haven't heard him, he's one of the best coaches for some of the top teams, and he will make a difference in your business and in your life. It's at Lake Tahoe. He's going to go over his best-selling book, Person of Interest. And I have 2 free comped tickets. So text me if you can go this Friday, Incline Tahoe. Text me your info, and I've got 2 comp tickets for Michael Burt, Person of Interest. It's going to be great. So here's my phone number in the memo, 916-342-4777. So, well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Heather, Seth. Now you all got your inspiration. Time to put in the perspiration. Let's go. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Bye now.
All right. Have a good day. Thanks. Bye now.
Good job, everybody. Have a great day.